Hello my dearest friends, welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. It's another day of Bookmas today, and I'm going to be combining kind of two ideas in the same video because this past week the Goodreads Choice Awards have been awarded. So the Goodreads Choice Awards winners have been announced, and I did take a peek at them when they were announced on, I think, the 5th. But I was so busy this week, I had no time to kind of sit down and put my thoughts together to kind of make a video out of them. So as I sat down to think about what to make of this video, I'm going to do it a bit differently this year because last year I did this thing where I read a couple of the books, I did not like a couple of the books, and then I did my reaction to the winners. So I'm going to do it a bit differently this year because essentially a lot of the books that were on the list were books that I have read this year as part of my most anticipated releases of 2024. And I was thinking about doing this video anyway of reacting towards all the books that I managed to cross off of that list and tell you which books I did manage to finish and which books I didn't or DNF'd. Because there's a couple of those on there as well, for sure. So I'm going to just combine those two ideas together. I'm going to open up the Goodreads Choice Awards winners. I'm going to react to them and I'm going to tell you which books I managed to finish because they were part of my most anticipated releases. And I'm going to tell you in the end which books I didn't get to this year for whatever reason and which books I DNF'd as well. So let's just go ahead and dive in. I've got my laptop on my lap so I can browse through all the winners. Obviously for some of the categories I've not read any of the books. I'm just gonna gloss over them and then move on to the categories that are more exciting for my channel. So the first result will be for the fiction books. Once I've not read any books off of this list. I thought that Sally Rooney was going to win, but it's actually another book that I've never heard of, and I actually saw someone talking about this book in a reaction video. It's called The Wedding People by Alison S. Bach. This book, I think, features kind of a romance in it, so I may look into it. I'm not sure if I will, but anyway, I'm not really a fan of any of these books. They're not on my radar, so I'm just going to move on to the next category, which is historical fiction. Here, the winner is The Women by Kristen Hanna. I did think that this might win it because Kristen Hanna is a wildly popular author and she won with 253,000 votes. So yeah, the next one up is 62,000 votes. So yeah, this is a win by a landslide. And actually this book, I've got the audiobook for this one through Storytel, so I may venture out to try and read it in the future. I'm not sure when that will happen, but I am interested in picking up a Kristen Hanna book because I've never read this author before, and I've seen Tori and Jess from Peace Love Books read this book and they really loved it, so I may try it out. And then the next category is mystery thriller. This one I actually voted in this category because I really did enjoy First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, and that book is actually on spot number 2 with 74,753 votes. The winner is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I've not heard of this book before, but I may research it because it is the winner and it has a 4.19 average rating. So that's interesting. I definitely may give it a try. I'm just happy that Frida McFadden didn't win. I don't want to be mean in this video, but I read The Boyfriend by this author and I really did not enjoy this book. And then she has so many books each year that it's kind of difficult to escape her. She's on all the best-selling lists and all her books are everywhere in like bookshops and libraries and everywhere. So I was hoping that someone else was going to win and I'm happy that they did. And actually maybe it's a good thing that she has 2 books on this list because the votes got divided and that's why I think she didn't win. So yeah, essentially I'm happy that a completely different author won it this time over. Now moving on to romance. we're going to the romance category. I know already that Emily Henry won. It's not a surprise to anyone because obviously this was the most popular book this year. Funny Story by Emily Henry won by 179,349 votes. And the next one up is my pick for a winner, which is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This one had 140,786 votes. So yeah, a big difference, and it's not unexpected. I really had hoped that Abby would win this year because she definitely does deserve it. Last year she was nominated for Yours Truly. The year before, I think she was nominated for Part of Your World, and all three books that were nominated were really amazing books. They were all 5-star reads for me and for many of the people that I follow. So I really had hoped that this year would be a bit different, but alas, Emily Henry won again. So this is not a bad thing per se, because I really did love Funny Story, and I think a lot of people did really love this book. So it's a good thing that a book that was widely loved but not just popular won this year. So I'm not mad about it. But then looking at the other books, I'm gonna tell you all about the nominations here when it comes to books that were on my list for anticipated releases of 2024 and whether I picked them up. So Funny Story, yes, I picked it up. I gave it 5 stars. Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer, 5 stars. Again, I voted for this book, so obviously it's a favorite. I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which is the second runner-up. This one had 99,000 votes. Bride by Ali Hazelwood was not my favorite book by this author. I really do love Ali Hazelwood. As you can see in my bookshelves, I actually do have, Love on the Brain, Love Theoretically. I love The Love Hypothesis. I love the couple of novellas that she came out with this year. But I did not love the 2 full-length novel releases this year, which were Bride and Not in Love, which is also nominated this year. I picked them up and I didn't love them. I gave them both 3 stars. And then one of my bigger disappointments this year was Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver, because I really did enjoy the first book, which is Butcher and Blackbird. I actually have the physical copy of that one as well here. And then Leather and Lark didn't work for me at all. So yeah, this one is the 3rd runner-up with 41,000 votes. I am happy to see that the next one up with 40,988 votes is Play Along by Liz Tom 40. This is another favorite of mine that you can see somewhere hidden over here. I typically will purchase only, typically will only purchase books that I've read and really loved. So that's why I have these books on my bookshelves. And the thing is, Play Along really will end up as one of my favorites this year. I love Liz Tom 40's books. And I'm happy that she got recognized this year because this book is independently published, one of the few on this list that were independently published. So yeah, I'm happy to see that she is in spot number 5. The next one is King of Sloth. So Anna Huang is always on my TBR. I was anticipating this release, but I need to get caught up on all of the previous books by this author because I've not yet read Twisted Lies. Shame on me. I've not yet read King of Wrath, King of Greed. Is there another one? King of Wrath, King of Greed. I think that is it. And then King of Sloth. So I still need to get caught up on the series. But it was an anticipated release for me. I just did not get to it. And then another one for which I'm ashamed to say I've not yet picked it up is Wild Love by Elsie Silver, because I did finish recently the Chestnut Spring series finally, and now I can prioritize picking up Wild Love. I know everyone has been loving this series, specifically also the second book is widely popular, so I'm looking forward to starting on this series, but I've not read it yet. And then the next one up is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. So I did read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I thought it was okay, but I've not yet picked up the other books. We've got this one and then the Christmas Tree Shop or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna get to them at some point, but they're not really ones that I was anticipating very much. So they were not on my list, so I've not yet picked them up either. And then a book that was on my anticipated releases list is Christina Lauren's The Paradise Problem, which I read and loved. I gave that one 5 stars. The next one is This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I'm not picking up any books by this author. This is not going to be the author for me. I've discussed this on my channel before. I don't think that I'm going to be liking or loving these books, so they're just not on my radar. And then we've got the only LGBTQ book on this list, which is Casey McQuiston's The Pairing. It has buy rep in it, and I have it on my TBR. I actually have the audio through Storytel, but I don't know when I'm going to pick it up because I did read a couple of my friends' reviews which were not very favorable, so I'm not sure. I kind of am hesitant about picking it up. And then we've got Daydream by Hannah Grace. This was an anticipated release for me. It was on my list and I really did love this book. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I'm happy that it got nominated last minute because it was released in September. And then another book that was on my list that I hated was The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I did pick this up just when it released, and I had some thoughts. I did not love this book. So yeah, it got nominated, but it didn't do well. It had only 10,607 votes. Fairly enough, if you ask me. And then again, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood was on my anticipated reads list, but I did not love it. And then we've got the Queen, Kennedy Ryan, with This Could Be Us. This was one of my most anticipated reads for 2024. I picked it up. I really liked it. I didn't love it as much as Before I Let Go, but I really did like it. It's a 4.5 star read for me, and I'm just so happy to see that she gets recognized on these awards lists, even though she only got 7,742 votes. I think that many people didn't vote for This Could Be Us because they knew that it wouldn't win. So I'm one of these people, actually. I voted for Abby because I, first of all, loved the book, but second of all, I just wanted her to win instead of Emily Henry. So I think a lot of people had the same thoughts. So even though they might have loved Kennedy Ryan's book, they knew it just stood no chance to win. So the next one up is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I've been liking this series. It was, I think it was on my anticipated reads list, or maybe it wasn't, but I still picked it up. And I did like it. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it more than the first book, which was Done and Dusted. But I did like the last one best, which is Lost and Lassoed. So yeah, this series has been working for me. And then we've got another book that was on my list, which is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Theo Williams. I did pick this up. It was not the read for me, specifically because I'm not very much into magical realism in kind of like contemporary settings. So this one was a bit off for me as a reader, but I think it was beautifully written, and it is definitely worth it to pick up if you do like magical realism. And also Tia Williams definitely does deserve the praise that she gets and the award nomination. I'm really happy that she's on the list, but for me this one was a 3-star read. Now the next book, How to End a Love Story, was not on my radar. It was not on my list, and I did not read it because I heard very mixed reviews about it. So essentially it's not going to get read by me. And then the other 2 books that are in the top 20 were books that were actually also not on my radar. The first one being The Love of My Afterlife. No, not on my radar. And then Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. I don't think so. So these were the books on the list that were nominated. And then I've got a couple of books on here that were also on my list that I want to mention. So we've got The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I did read it. I gave it 4 stars. I think I gave it actually 3.5 stars, and I didn't love it as much as The Cheat Sheet. I also had The Break Up Tour by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. This author duo is very hit or miss for me. I think I have Roughest Draft somewhere over here. This is my favorite book by them, but then the rest of the books that I've picked up by them have not been hits. This one I actually started and I DNF'd, so it was anticipated but kind of a miss. And then we've got Only and Forever by Chloe Dees. I picked it up. I loved it. I give it 5 stars. We've got The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. I read and loved. I give it 4 stars. We've got Savor It by Tara DeWitt. Loved it. Business Casual by BK Borison. Loved it. I give it 5 stars. So this one I definitely loved, and I'm going to be picking up the new release by BK Borison in the future, next year. I had Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas on my list. I didn't pick it up. I didn't read it yet. And I don't know what it is with Ben Douglas's books, but lately, because they're all interconnected, if you've missed out on reading, like I didn't read the Tri-Six Venom book, and I think that this one is connected to that book, so I don't know if it will work for me. I'm kind of on the fence, but we'll see if I pick it up in the future. Then we've got a novel, Love Story by Ashley Poston. I did read it. Didn't love it. I give it 3 stars. Ready or Not by Cara Basto. Read it and loved it. I gave that one 5 stars. And then we've got another release by Christina Lauren this year, which is Tangled Up in You. I actually started the ebook for it, got 30% through, but then I got distracted and I started up on another book. So I kind of put it on my DNF for now, but I'm going to pick it up soon because I think it will get better. And then we've got a release by Mia Sheridan this year, which was Falling for Gage, and it's within her Pillion Lake series. Travis and Archer's voice are set within the small town, and I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as the other 2 books. And then we've got My Queen, Julie Soto, Not Another Love Song. I ate that book up. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's going to end up in my favorites of the year. And then we've got The Ex Vows by Jessica Joyce. Read it, loved it. Yes, for sure. And a debut author that I've been trying to sing the praises of this year, but I don't think I did a well enough job, so I'm going to be talking about this book more and more on my channel, is When I Think of You by Maya Ariel. And I compared this book to Real by Kennedy Ryan because it did give me all the feels that Real had. So yeah, I really loved this book, and if this author has more books in the future, I'm definitely picking them up. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I had Honeycut on my list by Sierra Simone. This is the 3rd book within her Lioness series. I love the heck out of this book. I give it 5 stars, and I'm definitely looking forward to more books by Sierra Simone. I love that she's so different when it comes to kind of intertwining serious plot, serious issues like religious issues together with a lot of spice. So it's really worth it. And then I had a couple of books that actually didn't release this year. I had them on my list in the anticipation of them releasing this year, but they didn't. We've got the Empyrean book, which is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. It will come out in 2025, so it will be on my list for 2025. We've got What's Left of Us by Lucia Franco. This is going to be the continuation of her Off Balance series, I think. So Xavier and Avery's story, it will come out, I think, next year. And then, was there another one? No. We do have 2 debut books that were on my list. One of them I finished, one of them I didn't pick up. Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. I loved it. I really loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's definitely a perfect debut book for me. And then another debut is Hannah Tate Beyond Repair by Laura Piper Lee. I did not pick this book up. I just think I was really anticipating it because I had read the blurb for it, but for some reason it kind of got lost on me, and I just need to look it up again, kind of get excited about it again and pick it up sometime in the future. And then I had the Danica Nava book, which is also a debut novel, The Truth According to Ember. One of my bigger disappointments this year because I just didn't love the story. I didn't love the story. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, so I gave that one 2 stars, unfortunately. And then the last book on the list is Buck Shy by Kayla Gross. So this is a novella that came out around Valentine's Day. I do have it on my Kindle, but I still need to pick it up. I think I'm gonna wait until the next Valentine's Day to pick it up. And then I did read a lot of the other releases by Kayla Gross this year, which were within her, like Rope Me In was one of the books, and I gave that one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. And I also read the novellas like Silver Foxed, I think, and I gave that one 4 stars. And Axis and O's, that one was really spicy. So yeah, that one was also worth it around the Christmas period. So yeah, I've read the other books by Kayla Gross, but I still need to get to Book Shy. So this was essentially my anticipated reads kind of recap of what I actually did pick up, whether I loved them or not, and the ones that I didn't love or DNF'd, and also tying them into the Goodreads Choice Awards when it comes to the contemporary books. This is actually all of the books that were on my list. And then when it comes to the romantasy books, let me just go on to the romantasy category real quick to see who won. Yeah, it's House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not surprised. 122,895 books. Votes. What actually does surprise me is the second book, which is Apprentice to the Villain. I didn't think that this book was that popular. Honestly, I'm not sure what it's doing on spot number 2. I actually voted for When the Moon Hatched because at that time I had only read that book together with A Fate Inked in Blood. Those two I'd read, so I voted for When the Moon Hatched. But in the meantime, I've read Phantasma and I actually liked it more than When the Moon Hatched. So had I waited a bit more, or at least had I read Phantasma before the voting round closed, then I would have voted for that one. And right now I'm also reading Callie Hart's Quicksilver, which I'm enjoying at the moment. So I'm gonna see how that's going to end up. But essentially, yeah, I'm not surprised that Sarah J. Maas has won this round because she is the most popular within the romantasy circles. So yeah, not a surprise there. So yeah, let me know what you think about the Goodreads Choice Award winners. I know that a lot of people are not happy in the past couple of years with how the awards have been set up, with how the votes are going. A lot of people are mad about the fact that some people vote without having read the book, which I also find weird. Why would you vote for something that you have not read? And then a lot of people are also mad about the fact that like you've read only one book off of a category and you don't really know what the other books are about, and then you vote only for the book that you've read. Yeah, I kind of get the point of that, but at the same time, not everyone reads like 200-300 books a year, right? So it's very normal that off of one category, you might have only read one book. And if you've loved it, why shouldn't you vote for it? Like, there's no rules against that. So at the same time, there's just a lot of controversy. Everyone can get mad about one thing or another. For me, what I am typically mad about is that a lot of books that deserve to be nominated get snubbed, like what we used to have previously a couple of years ago, the write-ins. That was a very good setup where books can get added on at certain points that were kind of voted on by the viewers, not by the viewers, by the readers. And I don't know, something needs to change. I definitely think that there's points of improvement, but at the same time, the awards kind of make it so that books get even more popular. So it's a good thing that people will again pick up more books because these awards happen. So they're not necessarily a bad thing, but they just need to be doing better in terms of including more independently published books, more widely diverse books, and just books that have the popularity, but not just the shelved books, so like to be read books, because obviously if you've not read the book, then you shouldn't be voting for it. So I think that people indeed should only be allowed to vote for books that they've actually read. So there's points of improvement, and I'm sure you agree with me on that. And let me know the books that you've read off of the list. Let me know if you're happy with the results. Let me know if you would have wanted someone else to win. And maybe let me know what you're reading right now. I don't know. Just let me know whatever your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you, and I hope to see you in the next one, in the next Bookmas video. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.